So I want to talk for a minute about how we seem to be back in the Middle Ages, in the sense that in the Middle Ages, the church was considered the only source of truth, and there were many things that the church said you should not read or expose yourself to, and these were heresy. And one had to have absolute faith in what the church said, or you were punished. So we have a very similar situation today. COVID is obvious, but pretty much how a lot of things are being handled through the media. We are told not to think for ourselves. The media says straight up they are not going to tell us anything but the official story. They are not going to tell us anything that might put doubt in our mind. These are very much like the sayings of the church in the Middle Ages. People in the Middle Ages who tried to investigate other things were burned at the stake. Fortunately here they're simply mocked and vilified and a number of other things. And so a lot of people think that they know what is happening, and their information is based on what they've heard from the media. And to repeat, the media has expressly said they are only going to present one side of the story. And so, for example, in the case of COVID information, basically the government trusts the information Big Pharma has presented to it, and then the media, in turn, presents the information the government presents to it. So basically, everything goes back to Big Pharma. And of course, they wouldn't do anything against our interests, even if they did make very large sums of money off it. But the thing that's amazing to me is how many people who formerly would say question authority have now basically adopted a religious attitude of unquestioning obedience to authority. And so really, instead of using the word disinformation, the word heresy should be used, because that's the accurate word. What we really have is religious fundamentalism masquerading as rationalism. And it basically says, obey without question. And if you do question, you're not able to think for yourself. And even worse, I won't go into all that, but apparently there are a number of doctors who have had their careers threatened by the CDC for speaking out or wanting to speak out. So anyway, that's my basic point, that most people who think they know what's going on don't connect the dots that they've only been given one side of the story. And the thing that amazes me is how they will vehemently refuse to look at anything that they have been told by the official authorities or something they shouldn't look at. That is amazing to me. And I will state my politics for a second. I believe that choosing between Democrats and Republicans is like choosing between being strangled and shot. I consider both Donald Trump and Joe Biden equally reprehensible in the things they did and their actions. So anyway, that's what I have to say, and thanks for listening.